Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a beautiful brand new day. Hey, Laura Smith. It's good to see you in the chat room this morning. How you doing out there, Priestess Laura? Can't wait to see you on Friday. It's a beautiful day here in the Enchanted Forest. We got some much needed rain overnight, and just a few moments ago, we received a wonderful rain, and boy, we sure did need it. And isn't it amazing how, at least for my mystic soul, a soft, gentle rain, and sometimes some really great thunder and lightning just makes me feel really good. And so it's really gentle and peaceful out here in the forest, following the rain. And as I always do, I just went outside and laid some tobacco down and thanked the spirit of the rain for visiting the enchanted forest in our home, in our town, bringing some much needed moisture to all of the animals and frankly to my spirit, because boy, too long without rain, and even I crave it, just the sound of it, the feeling of it, the smell of it. So this morning, it's the Mystic's Heart, where we have some fun with messages from all of the Mystic's Heart empowerment decks, teachings on every single card that I have dug up from antiquity, from all over the world. And I thought this morning it might be nice if we start out with something from my book, Prayers and Incantations to the Light. It's called The Morning Prayer. So if you care to just take a deep breath and become comfortable in your body, just a nice deep breath, I'm just going to read to you the morning prayer. Angels of the morning sun, divine ministers of dawn, whose brilliant rays arrive upon the life-giving breath of creation, I welcome the gift of this new day. Thank you for bringing with you new opportunities to play, to forgive, to love, to learn, to grow, to live, to be your eyes, to be your heart, to be your ears, and your hands on earth. Creator of all things, I am grateful for this day. I am grateful for my life. I am grateful for you. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Angels of the morning sun, divine ministers of dawn. Old teachings tell us that, ancient teachings tell us that those rays of the morning sun, the energy contained within each and every one of those sun's rays, are angelic. They are conscious, they are alive, they are awake, and they are aware. Can feel the warmth of their consciousness on our body. We can feel the brightness of their consciousness in our eyes, on our eyes, as we watch the sun rise and we watch the pattern of the sun throughout the day. The sun's rays, they say, are the angelics, the bright and the shining ones, making their way here to Grandmother Earth to greet the new day. And for some people, to help keep track of what time it is during the day. Okay, just put that away. Good morning, Maggie. Hey, Linda Griezak. Good to see you in the chat room this morning. It's always good to greet the new day, and it's always good to give gratitude at night when we're getting ready to go to sleep. That's a great, good thing. All right, so this morning, I have all of the decks of cards, all four of them, in a pile. And, Maggie's saying the thunder beings are very active this morning. Isn't that a great feeling? To me, it's a great feeling. And I know that all of the living beings, the plants and the flowers and all of the gardens, respond so beautifully to the charge of lightning. In the middle of the night, I got up and I was just sitting looking out the window, and it hadn't begun raining yet, but the thunder beings, the lightning beings, were already lighting up the sky. And I love to just sit and watch. And I can feel everything being energized. including myself, because there I am awake at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Somebody tapping on my shoulder saying, "Get up, Blue Thunder woman. Watch what we're going to do." And I did. Okay. Hey, Kimberly Wink. Good to see you in the chat room. All right, Laura Smith. This message is for you. So I'm just going to shuffle all of the decks. I'm really excited about a class that I'm teaching on September 14th. It's my next Angels and Enchantments class webinar. It's about how to work with the 13 illuminated mystic angels. That ought to be a good one. Let me just say. All right, Laura. Oh, hey, Tara. Laura, it's the White Eagle, the teaching of the White Eagle. And this is from the Mythology Empowerment deck. White Eagle. Ancient teachings are being revealed to you at this time. White Eagle represents the wisdom of the stars and the elements of air and light. The origin of the teaching of the White Eagle, they say, the old ones say, comes from Atlantis. Laura, become aware of the messages that are coming to you in your night dreams and daydreams. Be open to the teachings that are being sent to you by your spiritual teachers from the physical and non-physical realms. Take time to consider what your personal experiences and encounters are trying to reveal to you. This is a time of great spiritual growth if you are willing to slow down, go within, pay attention, and trust your soul's connection to the divine mind. I like that. And your daily mantra from the White Eagle teaching is this, Laura. I hear the voices of the ancient ones speaking to me in my meditations and dreams. As we are preparing here, and not in the not too distant future, to celebrate the autumn equinox, the turning of the wheel once again. We're really going into the time of the ancestors, and I am teaching a webinar course, Walking with the Ancestors. I am really excited about teaching that course. You can check it out on schoolofsacredstudies.com on the webinars page. Hey, Carla Joe. All right, Linda Greasiak. The Grease. You're welcome, Laura. All right. Okay. I just love it when the Spirit says, keep shuffling. Just keep shuffling. All right, Lindy. The Great Pyramid at Giza. This is from the Mysteries of Ancient Egypt. Geez, I think that this deck is just about sold out as well. I think I've got like 2 decks left. It's just amazing. And it makes me joyful to know that David and I have created something that people around the world are loving. The Great Pyramid at Giza, Linda. Your contemplative word, my friend, is this: initiation. We know that the Great Pyramid at Giza is the temple of self-mastery. And the teaching of the Great Pyramid, the esoteric teaching, is this: like the phoenix, I rise again. The essential oil associated with the Great Pyramid at Giza is the blue lotus oil. I have some of that here at the School of Sacred Studies that I brought back from Egypt, and it is really very spectacular. Linda, the journey of human life is the journey toward self-mastery. It requires many deaths without dying, rebirths into higher knowing, living the gift of human life fearlessly, and trusting the divine process in all things. The initiate knows that the four sides of the pyramid represent the balance of body, mind, emotions, and spirit, and that the ascending and descending pyramid, once met, represent the Merkaba essence of our light body, free from the confines of flesh and bone. From the sands of time we become, in time we shall always be. All right, and your daily mantra? Like the phoenix, I rise again. I am the master of my journey. For those of you out there born between June 25th and July 24th, you were born under the auspices, the horoscopical auspices of the Great Pyramid at Giza. All about the phoenix. Kimberly Wink. All right, it's the Thunderbird, the Wakion, the Thunderers. From the deck of mythology. The Thunderbird represents the all-seeing eye. The elements of spirit and air are what Thunderbird represents. And the origin of the teaching of the Thunderbird comes from native North America. Kimberly, the message, the onus of the message from the Thunderbird is this: stay on your path. Despite any winds of opposition, self-doubt, or the temptation to give up, it is important for you to stay on course at this time. Continue your walk along the good red road of balance and harmony with spirit and all living things. The all-seeing eye of the Creator sees your efforts and celebrates your willingness to walk on Grandmother Earth in a good and sacred manner. Kimberly, your daily mantra is this: even in the face of life's obstacles, I remain firmly on my soul's path. That is not always easy to do. I have a calendar. I have a candle. I'm looking at my calendar. I have a candle on my altar that represents that very thought, that very prayer. Please keep me on my true soul's path. Sometimes we need some nudges to stay on the path, because sometimes the path, really, we can face winds and obstacles and all sorts of things that try to push us off our path. Sometimes the path becomes like a hairpin roller coaster ride, and we have to stay the course. And sometimes there are forces, if you will, that would like to knock us off our path or draw us to stop along our path. And the Thunderbird says, just keep going. Just keep going. Remain focused. I like that. Maggie. You're welcome, Kimberly. Maggie, this one is for you. Oh, it's the Archangel Saint Michael. Well, there's a whole lot to say about the Archangel Saint Michael, isn't it? True. Oh, my. Michael. Michael, the Archangel. All right, I am going to go to the deck of 13 for this one, so bear with me for just a moment, Maggie. Put my glasses back on. All right. The Archangel Saint Michael is known as the Prince of Light, the ruler of the fourth heaven. One of my favorite teachings about the Archangel Saint Michael, and symbolically what Michael represents, is this: the depths to which we are able to descend correspond to the heights that we are able to ascend. I really like that. Walking the path of the mystic requires balance and integrity. A lot of integrity testing goes on when we're walking the path of our soul, of our mystical heart. In the physical and non-physical realm, around and within us, banishing negativity in order to expose and expand the brilliance of light often takes great courage and discipline. So too, setting healthy and stable boundaries is rarely easy, and maintaining those borders can be harder still. Saint Michael, the beloved archangel of the celestial spheres, lovingly invites you, Maggie, to contemplate that which may be out of balance in your life, in your spiritual practice, and in your work. It is time to restore equilibrium. Asking Michael to assist you in this endeavor will bring positive changes in gentle, measured ways. Some of the correspondences when we're working with the Archangel Saint Michael: brass, amber, tiger's eye, the planet or the star Regulus, the color purple, the direction of the west, cedar, sparrowhawk, the wolf, the golden butterfly, hibiscus, sunflower also represents the Archangel Saint Michael. So many beautiful esoteric correspondences. The Archangel Saint Michael is also the patron saint of teachers, law enforcement, and the military. The key words for the Archangel Saint Michael are descend, ascend, Merkaba, light body, and Christ Michael. There you go, Maggie. You're welcome, Lindy. That's a good one. Tara Riedberg. This one is for you. It's the water dragon from the Spirit of Mythology deck. I'm just going to stir up my incense here, everybody, for a moment. I have some wonderful Greek rose incense going for this morning. It's called Gentle Rose. I always set a sacred space. I mean, not only when I'm teaching, of course, whether it's webinar or at the School of Sacred Studies, I always set a sacred space before the podcasts. And of course, when I have clients, I love setting sacred space. I think it's part of the nature of who I am and part of my mystic heart. And this morning, I was prompted to get out the Gentle Rose. And it smells lovely. So I'm just stoking it up a little bit here. And I order my rolled incense that way now that I'm out of it, for the most part. I mean, remember, Laura, where we were there at the Basilica of the Black Madonna in France, Rocamadour? I'm almost out of all of that, sadly. So I go to LegacyIcons.com. LegacyIcons.com. They have some great, wonderful incense. So, all right. Tara, the water dragon. The water dragon, at least in the British Isles mythology, and I'm drawn to when we're talking about dragons, for me personally, I'm drawn to the mythology of the British Isles, and I think that probably has everything to do with my ancestry. The greatest portion of the blood that flows through my bones and in my body comes from the Channel Islands. Interesting, right there, those islands between the coast of France and Britain. That is the greatest makeup of what I carry in my blood and bones. And so I have this affinity, a natural affinity toward the British Isles. And when it comes to dragons, yes, I love all things Arthurian. I really do. The water dragon in the Arthurian legends, or the legends of the British Isles, Wales, etc., represents water magic and insight. Very magical. Your sixth sense is heightened. The water dragon represents our intuition, our psychic senses, the pools of our psyche. Tara, the reflecting pool of our psyche is infinitely deep and rich with ancient wisdom. For the one who wishes to dive deep into the cavernous abode, the water dragon will assist in bringing to the surface mystery school teachings reserved for those who are walking the path of spirit with integrity and balance. Tara, pay attention. It's time to go within for guidance, answers, and insight. During this time of heightened awareness, it is imperative that you pay attention to your extra senses while maintaining balance in your diet, exercise, meditation, and prayer time. And the mantra of this particular card, the Water Dragon, is this: I am awake and I am aware. Awake and aware. And that's really the secret of living a mystic's life, isn't it? The life of a mystic is to be awake and aware. Not only of our physical body when it's speaking to us, but everything in the non-physical world that approaches our physical body. We can sense it. We can feel something, but we usually have to slow down, get quiet, breathe, and just become awake and aware. And one of the greatest ways to do that, everybody, while we're all gathered here, one of the greatest ways to learn how to become awake and aware to the non-physical is to really become awake and aware to your physical surroundings. We can decorate our homes, our office spaces, our sacred spaces with so many things. And yet if we're sitting in one of those spaces with our eyes closed, can we visualize what's on the walls? The way the carpet looks, the way the furniture looks? Are we even awake and aware to the way that we decorate our home? The moment that we really begin to contemplate and look at just what's in our surrounding space, something extraordinary happens, is that we become awake and aware to the physical, and simultaneously, we then become more observant, awake and aware, open to the non-physical. So begin with the physical surroundings. It's a great exercise to do. Close your eyes and, try to think about or visualize what's behind you in the room that you're in. What's on the wall? What is the furniture like? Those are just great exercises to do. Tara's saying, appropriate. You know how much I love being around the water. I sure do. And I have a dragon collection. You're welcome, Tara. Yep, she is one of my water baby friends. There's no doubt about that. Laura's saying, yes, the Black Madonna, one of my favorite places. That was spectacular. It's wonderful when you begin to travel abroad, or even abroad here on this continent of the Americas. I mean, the Americas, it's a huge continent. From the tippy top of, the north to the very bottom of the south of America, which is a very large piece of real estate here on Grandmother Earth. And even here on Turtle Island, the United States, when you venture outside of the confines of your home or your town, all of a sudden you begin to become awake and aware to other possibilities. And those other possibilities understand that you're becoming awake and aware. And that's exactly why so many years ago I created the company, the travel company. 2008, I created Mystic Travels, which is now Temple Within Travels, just so that my gypsy traveling heart could experience places with my friends and new friends. And So the travel company will, of course, continue to go to far-flung places. Next year, we find ourselves in ancient Ireland, and it's going to be a spectacular adventure, very different from all of the other adventures to Ireland. And we will also be doing some travel here in the continent of native North America, beginning, I believe, with the Serpent Mound in Ohio. Todd and I were just talking about that, doing some things right here. But, having said that, just becoming awake and aware to the physical awakens the non-physical. It's beautiful the way that as above, so below, as within, so without really does work. Carla Joe. This one is for you, CJ. And we are going to get Carla Joe back on the docket to teach at the School of Sacred Studies, the Wheel of the Year. Trying to let the COVID restrictions, her classes get so large that we really need to let some of the COVID restrictions ease up a bit here in Michigan before we can just have her facilitate. Carla Joe, this one is for you. The grizzly bear. It's the Mato Wakam, the holy bear. The bear represents the four winds, at least in native North American tradition, and the medicine of knowing. And naturally, the star correspondence to the grizzly bear is Ursa Major, the Big Dipper, the big bear. Carla Joe. I am your grandfathers and your grandmothers, the ancient guardians who walk both the realms of spirit and earth. Protector of your journey and wise guide to your soul, Creator has sent me to tell you that you are surrounded by strong and loving forces as you walk the way of spirit. Stay the course, continue your journey along the good red road. Honor all of your relatives and stand tall upon your path. Remember that you are related to all things great and small, all things seen and unseen. Honor yourself. Go within when it's time to learn. Rest when your body and spirit must rest. And remember, it is also good to come out and play. And your daily mantra from the grizzly bear is this, CJ. The grandmothers and grandfathers protect and guide me. This really is the time of the return of our ancestors and some reconciling within our own blood and in our own bones of ancestral traumas and biases and all of that kind of a thing. The return of the ancestors within us is very much calling to us to have a look, to do some of our own personal healing here on the earth plane. And that's part of why I'm starting the webinar series, Walking with the Ancestors, and working with them and honoring them. It's time. The time is here. And it will culminate in a very large gathering here next summer in the Enchanted Forest with lots of wonderful sacred ceremony and a weekend of really deep ancestral work with myself, Linda Griezak, David, Cad Sturkin, and Nicole Fick. So it's really beginning to teach the process. And in the meanwhile, I've been studying some wonderful ancestral spirituality or spiritual practices from around the world. And my most recent diving in has to do with what we call, or who we call, the Pennsylvania Dutch, or the Deutsch, there in Pennsylvania. And it's quite interesting. I never really learned or knew about what a powwow or who a powwow was. And this is something completely different from anything we associate the word powwow with in Native America. But a powwow in the Deutsch or Pennsylvania Dutch, as we call them, tradition, is a healer, is a mystic, is a wise one. And the practice of being a powwow is still very much alive, not only in the Pennsylvania Dutch communities, but also in other places. And there's a resurgence in people wanting to learn about those practices, the practices of their ancestors. And there are good ways to go about that, and there are kind of, willy-nilly ways to go about that, and maybe some ill-advised ways. So that's why I'm beginning the webinar series. So there will be people from around the world joining me, and we're going to dive into that. I'm going to go right into it. Oh, let me have a little look-see here. What's going on? My grandson, Easton, is getting fitted for a helmet today. So I just received a photo from the doctor's office. Very sweet. Delmarie Chue, my elder sister, who I love dearly. She's my elder sister and also my friend. CJ is saying, thank you, Dana. I'm looking into the family tree and where I came from. It's really good to know those things. It's very good to know those things. All right. Chue, this one is for you. Oh, this is perfect for you, Chue. We'll be really glad when you return to your radio show too, Chue. We miss Walk a Good Life with Delmarie Bradfield. But we know that you're busy working, and beating too, so no pressure. It's the wolf. Shunkmani Tutanka is here for you, Chue. The teacher, the protector of the Great Spirit's children, young and old. Through the 4 seasons of the sacred hoop of life, the newness of spring, the heat of summer, the harvest of autumn, and the bitterness of winter, I walk with the medicine of the elders. I am the guardian and teacher of the ancient wisdom, and companion of those who hold the integrity of the old ways. Walk the good red road with me, Chue, Delmarie, and listen as I teach you about the great mysteries and what the old ones have always known. I will tell you the secrets of the winds, the moons, the sun, the stars, and you will learn the truth of who you are. For me, Chue, this is an affirmation of you as a teacher. You're a wonderful teacher and a protector of children. Anybody who knows my sister Dell, my sister Barbara, and my sister Cheryl Noisy-Hawk, right? They work so diligently on behalf of young people. Well, and same with my sister Della, actually. She worked in the boarding schools as a nun. So there's this theme with my elder sisters of being teachers, of helping the young people, the little ones who don't have anyone to help them, but also teaching the old traditional ways. And sometimes, at least it's been my experience with you, Del, is that you don't understand how valuable you are in your teachings. And this is an affirmation to me for you. Your mantra from the wolf is this: my life is my legacy. I teach the children well. My life is my legacy. I teach the children well, and you do. Just like Barbara, just like Cheryl, just like Della. Dell is saying, amazing. I was told I was a teacher in one of the ceremonies a few days ago. Yes, you are a teacher. And sometimes it gets you in the hot seat. I know that it does. But that's okay, because sometimes as teachers, we find ourselves in the hot seat for speaking about the teachings. And but that's okay. We keep going, just like the wolf. Keep going, one step, one teaching at a time. All right, so I'm going to pull a card for everybody, all of us this morning. Wopila suits me well. Yes, it sure does. Okay, it's the teaching of the mountain lion, everybody. From the sacred door of the West. And of course, from our beautiful grandmother Earth, Unchimaka. It's about the medicine of leadership and balance. The mountain lion, you might guess it, is of course associated with the Leo constellation. I am the power and the prowess of the divine feminine on Grandmother Earth. My physical strength and stamina is equal to that of the male. In this balance, I walk firmly along my path. I know who I am. At one time, all things were in balance, as the great mystery intended. Over time, as humans became more and more disconnected from nature, the sacred hoop of life on Grandmother Earth became unbalanced, and the natural rhythms of existence fell out of sync. It is time for you to regain equilibrium in your physical and spiritual lives. Set aside a time of sacred silence each day to connect with the Great Spirit. Go outdoors and experience the breath of life found in all things. Honor your physical body with proper nourishment and rest when needed. Our daily mantra, everyone, is this: I know who I am. I walk firmly along my path. And it is also a call to bring ourselves back into balance. And in doing so, we help to reharmonize all things, seen and unseen. We know that as we do the work in our own lives, all of life is affected with that, bringing into balance. With that, everybody, thank you for joining me today. Get out there and shine your light as only you can. The world needs it. We all need it from one another. And maybe this week we focus on the fierceness of our light. Not the complacency or the compassion, but the fierceness of our light. The strength of our light. Blessings be, everybody. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Shine on.